Do you remember what the world was like before the internet? If so, you're definitely not a teenager. Isn't that crazy? There isn't a single teenager alive today who remembers what life was like pre-Google. Well, life was different. And today, we're going to see just how different it was. I'm Mike with List 25, and these are 25 things people did before the internet you won't believe. #25. Buy encyclopedias. That's right, they were physical books, and you actually did research papers by looking up the topic alphabetically. I always hated when people spoil it for me. If I'm on C, don't tell me what happens in D. I don't want that. What's your favorite letter? Let us know in the comments below. 24. Take weeks to find rare items. There wasn't Amazon. People had to look up relevant topics in the yellow pages and call up every single store to see if they carried whatever item was being sought. 23. Ask for directions. There weren't apps or GPS. People had to use paper maps. You looked up the street, it gave you the quadrant, and you'd have to figure out how to get there. Not to mention that you also had to figure out where exactly you were. Typically, this involved asking innocent bystanders. 22. Set meeting times. You spent a lot of time waiting for people because you had to pre-plan your meetings. If someone didn't show up, well, you wouldn't know what happened to them. 21. Lack information security. At a store, the clerk would just use a machine that made a carbon copy of your credit card. It wouldn't charge until later. 20. Struggle to get music. Kids actually burned, or made, custom music CDs and sold them at school. Napster changed everything, as nobody was used to having access to so much music. 19. Read actual books at the library. Your home encyclopedias were for elementary school, even middle school. In high school and college, though, you had to go to the library. And not all libraries were equal. Many times you had to go search out a bigger library just to get access to the more scholarly books and information. 18. Write things by hand. Although there were word processors and printers in the early 90s, they weren't common. Most people still had to write out their school assignments. I don't think I ever used a computer in school for homework. 17. Carry change. Why? Because you might need to use a payphone. 16. Call payphone operators to get the time. It's true. Of course, there were watches, but not everyone had them. At the beep, the time will be 3 p.m. Bum. Oh man, I remember that. 15. Take weeks to register for stuff. It would always take several weeks. You'd have to call the company, have the forms sent to you, fill them out, send them back, and receive confirmation. Each step took several days. 14. Learn cursive. At least, that's what your teacher wanted you to do because you'd need it in the future. Nobody knew that in a few years, you would barely use a pen to sign your own name. 13. Talk to your boyfriend, girlfriend's parents every time you wanted to call him or her. You had to call his or her house, and in all likelihood, tell their parents that you wanted to speak to them. I know. It was terrifying. Also, anytime someone called my house, they mistook me for my mom. Apparently we sounded alike when I was younger. 12. Pay the bills with checks. And then you had to mail them. 11. Wait for photographs to develop. You actually had to go to the store and leave your film there to have it developed. And then you could put your photos in a book and show them to your friends. Fun fact, I actually used to work in the photo lab at Walgreens. So they're still doing that back in 2008? 10. Wait to watch TV shows. Want to watch that one cartoon you like? Well, you better tune in at 8:30 a.m. on a Saturday, otherwise you're out of luck. 9. Remember phone numbers. Back in the day, you actually had to dial numbers on the telephone every time you wanted to call someone. Now, I still remember a bunch of numbers from my past, and if anyone wants to know James' phone number, it's 358. Read the news once a day. You read it every morning in something called a newspaper. Yes, it was an actual paper. After that, there wasn't any news until 6 p.m. on TV.
7.
Make mistakes. People could actually make them without being mobbed by millions of people on Twitter.
6.
Play outside. And parents didn't always require their kids to check in. You just had to be home before dark. Sound fun? It was.
5.
Listen to messages on the answering machine. Instead of judging your popularity by the number of likes you receive, people judge their popularity by the number of messages people left them.
4.
Use a computer for non-internet stuff. You know, like playing solitaire or Minesweeper. I was so good at solitaire.
3.
Walk around with folders full of paper. Because everything was on paper. Everything.
2.
Talk face to face. Dialogue was an art form.
1.
Whatever they wanted. Well, sort of. The fact is, though, they knew that nobody was recording them or that they wouldn't pop up in the background of some random stranger's photograph and then have their face plastered all over billboards in foreign countries. And yes, that does happen. It also meant their mistakes wouldn't follow them for their whole life. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the top right corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these videos here or just head to our website at list25.com.